Like somebody who gets like a cancer diagnosis who's already in that place often will react better and more lucidly to the cancer diagnosis than to their phone freezing. Because the difference is when you're in that state of stress, the cancer diagnosis in some ways is already baked into the cake. When you're in that level of consistent stress, you're already expecting the worst outcome in life with everything. So when the worst outcome actually happens, you're like, well, there it is. Of course it would. Of course I'd get diagnosed with cancer. Of course we'd have a global pandemic. Of course, a tornado would tear through my town. Of course. How could it not? Naturally. Of course, my uncle died. Of course he did. Of course. It's like something you work in to your expectation. But not this phone freezing. I expected this phone to not freeze. I expected this jar to be able to come open. I expected these people at the drive-thru not to screw up my order. I expected all these things to happen. And when they don't happen, and you're already in a state of extreme stress, that is when dysregulation happens. And dysregulation is what leads to meltdowns. Meltdowns.